If you're carrying debt right now, if you're lying awake at night worrying about bills, if you feel like you're drowning in financial obligations with no way out, I need you to hear something that might completely change your perspective. What I'm about to share with you isn't just another budgeting strategy or debt consolidation plan. This is about understanding how quantum physics, the same principles that govern reality at its most fundamental level, can be applied to eliminate debt and attract prosperity into your life in ways that will seem almost miraculous. And I know that sounds bold, maybe even impossible, but stay with me because by the end of this video, you're going to understand the quantum mechanics of debt elimination and prosperity attraction, and you're going to have practical tools you can start using today to shift your financial reality. Let me start by asking you something important. When you think about your debt, what happens in your body? For most people, there's an immediate physical response. Your chest tightens. Your stomach drops. Your shoulders tense up. You might even feel a sense of shame, panic, or hopelessness wash over you. That response? That's not just emotional. That's energetic. That's your entire vibrational frequency dropping to match the frequency of lack, limitation, and fear. And here's what most people don't realize about debt from a quantum perspective. The debt itself isn't the problem. The energy you're holding around the debt is the problem. Because that energy, that low-frequency vibration of stress, shame, and fear, is what keeps you trapped in debt. It's what the quantum field responds to. And as long as you're vibrating at the frequency of debt, the quantum field will continue to give you more experiences that match that frequency. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but the debt is real. The bills are real. The numbers in my account are real. How can quantum physics change that? And you're right. The debt is real in the physical dimension. But here's what quantum physics teaches us that changes everything. Physical reality is not fixed. Physical reality is constantly being created and recreated by the observer, by consciousness, by the energy and intention you bring to it. At the quantum level, matter itself is just energy in different states of vibration. Your debt, while it feels heavy and solid and permanent, is ultimately just energy. And energy can be transformed. Energy can be shifted. Energy responds to consciousness. This is not wishful thinking. This is quantum mechanics. So let's talk about what debt actually is from a quantum perspective, because once you understand this, everything changes. Debt is frozen energy. It's prosperity that got stuck, crystallized, locked in a particular form. Think about it. At some point, you received something of value, whether it was a car, an education, a house, medical care, whatever it was. That value came to you. But instead of the energy flowing freely, completing its circuit, it got trapped in the form of debt. It created an energetic imbalance. And that imbalance has been sitting in your field, weighing you down, lowering your vibration, keeping you stuck in scarcity consciousness. But here's the quantum truth that will set you free. Just as that energy became frozen in the form of debt, it can be unfrozen. It can be transformed. It can be released and transmuted back into prosperity. The first step in using quantum physics to eliminate debt is to completely change your relationship with it. Most people are at war with their debt. They hate it. They resent it. They feel victimized by it. They see it as the enemy. And every time they look at their credit card statements or loan balances, they generate intense negative emotion, which lowers their frequency, which keeps them stuck in the very pattern they're trying to escape. But quantum physics shows us a different way. What if instead of being at war with your debt, you saw it as information? What if you recognized that the debt is showing you where energy got stuck, where your frequency dropped, where you made decisions from scarcity instead of abundance? What if you saw the debt not as a punishment or a failure, but as a teacher showing you exactly what needs to shift in your consciousness? This might sound strange, but one of the most powerful quantum practices for debt elimination is gratitude for the debt. Now, I don't mean you should be happy about being in debt. I mean you should be grateful for what the debt provided. If you have student loan debt, that debt allowed you to gain knowledge and education. If you have medical debt, that debt allowed you to receive care when you needed it. If you have credit card debt, that debt provided for you during a time when you needed support. When you shift from resentment to gratitude, something quantum happens. You change the vibration around the debt. You transform it from heavy, stuck energy into flowing, moving energy. And when energy starts to flow, solutions appear. Opportunities arise. The path to elimination becomes clear. Now, let's get into the actual quantum mechanics of how to eliminate debt using consciousness and energy. The quantum field operates on a principle called superposition, which means multiple possibilities exist simultaneously until consciousness collapses them into a specific reality. Right now, there exists a quantum possibility where you are debt-free. That possibility is just as real in the quantum field as the possibility where you remain in debt. The question is, which possibility are you collapsing into your physical reality through your focus, your emotion, your belief, and your vibration? If you're constantly focused on the debt, feeling the stress of the debt, believing the debt will never go away, you're collapsing the quantum wave function in favor of the debt reality. But if you can shift your focus, shift your emotion, shift your belief, shift your vibration to align with the debt-free possibility, you begin to collapse that reality instead. This is where most people struggle, and I want to address this head-on because it's crucial. You might be thinking, how can I focus on being debt-free when I'm getting collection calls? How can I feel abundant when I can barely pay my bills? Isn't that just denial? And this is the misunderstanding that keeps people stuck. Quantum manifestation isn't about denying reality. It's about not letting current reality determine your vibration. Yes, the debt exists right now. But if you let that current reality keep you in a low-frequency state of stress and fear, you energetically lock yourself into that reality. You become a vibrational match to debt, which means the quantum field keeps delivering more debt. But if you can acknowledge the current reality while simultaneously aligning your energy with the debt-free reality you're creating, you open the quantum pathway for transformation. Here's a powerful quantum technique for debt elimination that I want you to start using today. It's called quantum visualization with emotional embodiment, and it works directly with the quantum field to shift your financial reality. Here's how you do it. Every single day, preferably first thing in the morning before your logical mind fully wakes up and starts reminding you of all your problems, take 10 to 15 minutes to vividly imagine your debt being eliminated. But don't just see it mentally. Feel it in your body. Imagine checking your accounts and seeing zero balances on all debts. Imagine receiving a statement that says, "Paid in full." Imagine the relief flooding your entire system. Imagine what it feels like to breathe without that weight on your chest. Imagine making financial decisions from freedom instead of fear. Let your body actually experience the physiology of being debt-free. Let tears of gratitude come if they want to. Let joy bubble up. Let peace settle in. Now, here's the quantum key that most people miss. As you do this visualization, you're not trying to make something happen. You're not using force or desperation. You're simply tuning your frequency to match the quantum reality where you are already debt-free. You're aligning your electromagnetic field, the energy field generated by your heart and brain, with the frequency of financial freedom. And when you do this consistently, when you make this your daily quantum practice, something remarkable happens in the field. The quantum possibilities that match your new frequency begin to actualize. Synchronicities occur. You get an unexpected bonus. Someone pays back money you'd forgotten they owed you. You discover an error that works in your favor. An opportunity to increase your income appears. A debt gets forgiven or reduced. These aren't accidents. This is the quantum field responding to your new vibration. But let's talk about the practical action side of quantum debt elimination, because quantum physics doesn't mean you just sit and visualize while doing nothing in the physical world. Quantum principles work in partnership with inspired action. So while you're doing your energetic work, you also need to take strategic action, but action that comes from your new high-frequency state, not from your old fear-based state. When you're in alignment, when you've raised your frequency through quantum practices, you'll receive intuitive guidance about what actions to take. You might feel called to contact a creditor and negotiate. You might get an idea for a side income stream. You might be guided to work with a financial advisor. You might feel inspired to sell something or downsize in a particular area. The key is to follow this inspired action, these quantum nudges, because they're coming from the part of you that's connected to infinite intelligence. There's something else about quantum physics and debt that I need you to understand, and this is profound. In quantum mechanics, there's a principle called quantum entanglement, where particles that have interacted become connected such that the state of one instantly affects the state of the other, regardless of distance. When you created debt, you became quantumly entangled with that debt. Your energy and the debt's energy became linked. And as long as that entanglement is characterized by negative emotion, resentment, and fear, you remain bound to the debt. But you can change the nature of that entanglement. You can transform it. Through gratitude, forgiveness, and releasing the emotional charge, you can shift the entanglement from one of bondage to one of liberation. You can actually bless the debt, thank it for what it provided, forgive yourself for any choices you regret, and energetically cut the cords that bind you to it. Let me share a quantum ritual for debt release that combines several quantum principles into one powerful practice. You'll need a piece of paper, a pen, and a fireproof container. First, write down each debt you have, the amount, and what it was for. As you write each one, say out loud, "Thank you for providing for me. I release you with gratitude." This begins the energetic shift from resistance to allowing. Then, close your eyes and visualize a golden light surrounding you and each debt on the list. See the light transforming the energy of the debt from heavy and dark to light and flowing. Feel the energetic bonds dissolving. See the debt transforming into pure energy that's being transmuted into prosperity. When you feel complete, safely burn the paper, watching the debt literally transform into smoke and light, returning to the quantum field to be reorganized into something better. As it burns, say, "I am free." The energy is released and transformed. I am now open to receive prosperity. Now, let's address something crucial about quantum physics and prosperity attraction, because eliminating debt is only half of the equation. You need to simultaneously attract prosperity. And here's where another quantum principle comes into play called the observer effect. The observer effect tells us that the act of observing something changes it. Your attention literally affects physical reality at the quantum level. So where is your attention? Are you constantly observing and focusing on debt, lack, and what you don't have? Or are you observing and focusing on prosperity, abundance, and what you want to create? Because whatever you give your attention to, you're literally bringing more of into your reality. This is not metaphor. This is quantum mechanics. To attract prosperity while eliminating debt, you need to become a prosperity observer. You need to start noticing abundance everywhere. Notice the abundance in nature. Notice the abundance of air you breathe, water you drink, food available to you. Notice when money does come to you, even small amounts. Notice opportunities. Notice generosity. Notice beauty. Train your brain to look for prosperity signals instead of scarcity signals. Because your brain is a quantum antenna, and whatever frequency you tune it to, that's what it will receive and amplify. If you tune it to scarcity and debt, you'll see scarcity and debt everywhere, and you'll create more of it. But if you tune it to prosperity and abundance, you'll start seeing possibilities and resources that were invisible before, and you'll create more prosperity. Here's another quantum principle that's essential for prosperity attraction, and this one might challenge you. It's about quantum coherence. Coherence means all parts of a system are in harmony, vibrating together at the same frequency. For you to attract prosperity while eliminating debt, you need coherence between your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your words, and your actions. If you're affirming prosperity but feeling fear, you're not coherent. If you're visualizing abundance but believing it's impossible, you're not coherent. If you're saying you're grateful but feeling resentful, you're not coherent. The quantum field responds most powerfully to coherence, to a unified signal where every part of you is aligned with the same frequency. So part of your quantum work is to achieve this coherence, to get all parts of yourself on the same page about prosperity. Let me give you a powerful quantum prosperity practice that creates coherence. It's called the quantum abundance breath, and it works with your nervous system, your heart field, and the quantum field simultaneously. Here's how you do it. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart. Begin to breathe slowly and deeply, in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you breathe in, imagine you're breathing in golden light, the energy of prosperity and abundance. Feel it filling your lungs, your heart, your entire body. As you breathe out, imagine you're releasing all fear, all doubt, all stress about money. Do this for several minutes until you feel a shift in your state. Then, while maintaining this peaceful, abundant state, bring to mind something you're genuinely grateful for. Let that feeling of gratitude build in your chest. This practice creates coherence in your heart field, shifts your nervous system out of stress mode, and broadcasts a clear prosperity signal to the quantum field. There's something I need to tell you about debt that might be uncomfortable, but that you need to hear if you're serious about quantum debt elimination. Most people's debt is not just about money. It's about identity. Somewhere along the way, you took on an identity as someone who struggles with money, someone who's in debt, someone who can't get ahead. And that identity is running your quantum program. You can do all the visualization and techniques in the world, but if at your core you still identify as someone in debt, you'll unconsciously recreate debt because your identity seeks to validate itself. So part of your quantum work is identity transformation. You need to release the identity of someone in debt and claim the identity of someone who is prosperous. This isn't fake it till you make it. This is recognizing that your true identity, the one that exists in the quantum field beyond your current circumstances, is already free and abundant. Here's a quantum identity practice that's incredibly powerful. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you think about your to-do list, before your old identity has a chance to kick in, ask yourself this question: who am I today? And then answer from your highest self, from the prosperous version of you that exists in the quantum field. I am someone who is financially free. I am someone who attracts prosperity effortlessly. I am someone who makes wise financial decisions. I am someone who is supported by the universe. I am someone who is abundant. Speak it out loud. Feel it in your body. Let that be your identity for the day. And every time your old identity tries to creep back in with thoughts like, I'm bad with money, or I'll never get out of debt, you catch it and you consciously choose your new identity instead. Let's talk about something that quantum physics reveals about prosperity that completely contradicts what most financial advice tells you. Traditional financial wisdom says focus on reducing expenses, cut everything, live as cheaply as possible until you're out of debt. And while there's nothing wrong with being mindful about spending, quantum physics tells us that operating from a scarcity, deprivation, cutting mindset keeps you locked in scarcity vibration. You cannot cut your way to abundance. You cannot restrict your way to prosperity. Because every time you make a decision from lack, from not enough, From deprivation, you're telling the quantum field, I am in scarcity, and the field gives you more scarcity. Instead, quantum prosperity while eliminating debt means making choices from abundance consciousness even in your constraints. It means asking not what can I cut, but how can I create more value? Not what do I have to give up, but what can I generate? This doesn't mean being irresponsible or reckless with money. It means shifting the energetic foundation from which you make financial decisions. When you do need to reduce an expense, do it from empowerment, not deprivation. Don't say, I can't afford this. Say, I'm choosing to allocate my resources differently. Don't focus on what you're losing. Focus on what you're gaining: freedom, peace, progress toward your goals. This shift in language and energy makes all the difference in the quantum field. You're operating from choice and power rather than from victimhood and lack. And that shift in vibration opens quantum pathways to prosperity that were closed when you were in scarcity consciousness. There's a quantum principle I want to share with you that has helped countless people eliminate debt faster than should have been possible, and it's called quantum superposition applied to financial reality. Remember, in superposition, all possibilities exist simultaneously until observed. This means that right now, in the quantum field, there exists a reality where your debt is eliminated through a way you haven't even thought of yet. There exists a reality where someone forgives your debt. There exists a reality where you win or receive unexpected money that pays it off. There exists a reality where a new opportunity creates income that makes the debt irrelevant. All of these exist as quantum possibilities right now. Your job is not to figure out which one will actualize. Your job is to stay in the high-frequency state where you're open to any of these possibilities manifesting. The moment you get attached to how it has to happen, you collapse the possibilities down to only what you can see, which limits the quantum field's ability to work magic on your behalf. So practice quantum openness. Say to the universe, I know my debt is being eliminated. I'm open to it happening in surprising and delightful ways that I could never have orchestrated myself. I trust the quantum field to arrange circumstances, people, and resources in perfect alignment with my highest good. And then let go of controlling the how. This isn't passive. You're still taking inspired action. But you're not forcing. You're not limiting. You're allowing the quantum field to work through you and for you in ways that transcend your logical mind's limitations. Now, I want to address something about quantum physics and debt that brings up a lot of questions, and that's the role of time. In classical physics, time is linear, and debt elimination happens through time, through making payments month after month, year after year. But quantum physics tells us something different about time. At the quantum level, time is not fixed. Past, present, and future are more fluid than we typically experience. This is why quantum healing can happen instantly. This is why sudden financial windfalls occur. This is why debt can be eliminated faster than linear time would suggest is possible. Because when you shift your consciousness, when you change your vibration, when you align with a different quantum possibility, you're actually jumping timelines. You're moving from the timeline where debt elimination takes years to a timeline where it happens much faster. I've seen this happen over and over. Someone does the quantum work, shifts their frequency, aligns with prosperity, and suddenly things accelerate. Debts get paid off in a fraction of the time they expected. Money shows up from sources they couldn't have predicted. Opportunities emerge that compress time. This isn't luck. This is quantum timeline jumping. This is what happens when you stop being a victim of linear time and start being a conscious creator working with quantum time. Your debt doesn't have to take as long as you think it does. That timeline is only one possibility. There are faster timelines available to you right now in the quantum field. You just have to align with them. Let me give you a quantum timeline jumping technique specifically for debt elimination. Close your eyes and imagine two versions of yourself existing simultaneously. One version is on the slow timeline, grinding away at debt for years, struggling, stressed. Really feel into that version. Feel the weight, the exhaustion, the frustration. Now imagine another version of yourself existing on a faster timeline, a quantum timeline, where the debt is eliminated rapidly through unexpected blessings, opportunities, and quantum miracles. Feel into that version. Feel the ease, the joy, the relief, the freedom. Now make a conscious choice. Which timeline do you choose? Which version of you do you want to be? Once you've chosen the quantum timeline version, imagine stepping fully into that version, merging with it, becoming it. Feel yourself shifting from the slow timeline to the fast timeline. Declare, I am now on the quantum timeline where debt elimination happens with ease and speed. This practice literally helps you shift timelines in the quantum field. Here's something powerful about quantum physics and prosperity that relates to your expectations. In quantum mechanics, there's a phenomenon where particles behave according to the observer's expectations. In a famous experiment, when scientists expected to see a wave, they saw a wave. When they expected to see a particle, they saw a particle. Your expectations literally shape quantum reality. So what are you expecting about your debt and your prosperity? Are you expecting it to take forever? Are you expecting to struggle? Are you expecting to barely make it? Because if so, that's exactly what you'll experience. The quantum field will arrange itself to match your expectations. But what if you started expecting miracles? What if you expected debt elimination to happen easily? What if you expected prosperity to flow to you abundantly? What if you expected to be supported by the universe? Those expectations would shape a completely different quantum reality. So I want you to do something right now. I want you to decide what you expect. Not what you hope for. Not what you wish could happen. But what you genuinely expect as your reality. Because your expectations are quantum instructions to the field. They're telling the universe what to create for you. So expect your debt to be eliminated. Expect prosperity to flow. Expect opportunities to appear. Expect support to arrive. Expect solutions to present themselves. Expect the quantum field to work on your behalf. And then watch as your expectations become your reality. If this message awakened something in you, if you felt the quantum shift happening as you watched, if you're ready to use these principles to eliminate your debt and attract prosperity, declare it in the comments by typing, debt eliminated, prosperity activated. Say it with conviction. Say it as if it's already done. Because in the quantum field, it is.